Yo. What up? It's the Don't Get Tricked Podcast, and it's your boy, Big Lee.
And you already know the hottest. It's your girl, Drea.
And we are here today with episode number 35. We are back in business, back in town.
Finally.
We got a special guest. You know, hey, we've been having things going on, but we back with a special guest, a good friend of mine, Starr. How you doing today? And welcome to the Don't Get Tricked Podcast.
Thank you for finally having me, Lee.
Hey, you know, I've been trying to get you on for like 2 months.
I know. I've been busy.
But hey, she was like, yeah, I'm out in LA with the stars. I'm doing this. Maybe when I get back. But then when I get back to Atlanta, I got to go to Miami, New York. She been to all the popping spots in the country. Well, the only one you missing was Vegas.
We little to her, Lee. So you
know.
No,
I always support every podcast except the sports one.
Oh man.
Not doing that one.
Yeah, but yeah, so like I said, we got episode 35, but first we want to Starr, I'm gonna let you, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name is Starr. I live in Atlanta. I met Lee in college. I'm from Rochester. I currently own a nanny placement agency, it's The Rock, with Amber. Amber was a guest on one of your podcasts, and I am a nanny. I'm going to go put my dog away because he's going to start barking, but I'll be right back.
Well, you go do that, and me and Drea we'll talk a little bit. Drea, how you been? I've been getting messages like, hey, y'all still doing the podcast with you and Drea? I said, I don't know, man. She under like contract negotiations with me. She holding out for more money. I don't know what's going on with her.
I was on strike.
Yeah, got me out here looking like Joe Buttons. I'm firing her. And
I like the interactions with the other people that's been coming on, giving them a chance to shine. We've been shining all last year, so it's like let these new people shine and get in there and get some FaceTime.
Yeah, we got a plan, and like I said, we still got our show going. I got to school Drea on these relationships and family stuff. So y'all can't get rid of us yet. So I'm here to stay. Drea here to stay. But also, I don't know if you want to break the news to people. Starr congratulated you earlier. I'll let you tell our people what's going on with you.
I am pregnant. I'm having a girl.
Yay! Congratulations.
My last child.
So she think.
Right.
Them twins is on the way next year.
Right.
No.
It's wonderful news. Congratulations, Drea. Amazing. We had the gender reveal on Saturday. I've lost.
He lost his father.
Yeah, if it was a boy, me and my wife would have been the godparents. But I was team girl for a reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like I said, it's fantastic news. Another child. I love children, so and good luck throughout the pregnancy and have fun.
So get your money ready. Another niece.
Hey, I was telling. I talked to Starr. I said, hey, and I told Drea at the gender reveal. I said, that's good. Uncle Lee could miss birthdays. The Godfather.
You gotta be there.
Yeah, the Godfather be like, oh, you ain't getting nothing like
at the birthday.
Uncle Lee could be like, hey, happy birthday. I'm over here in Wichita. But let's get into this episode today. So today we're talking about how your past affect your future. Drea, we're gonna start off with you. This was something that was near and dear to you, and you wanted to bring it to the people. We all got our stories, and we got Starr on to share, her stories. And like I said, we're gonna have this nice little conversation. Anybody in the audience, we appreciate everyone that comes and tunes in with us. Make sure that you send any of your comments up to us, and we're gonna be talking about it we can get into it. But Drea, take it away.
Hello again. So I'm in a group that shares stories about their past, being, whether it's either having drug dealers or drug users as parents, or having been molested or raped, different things that affect them. And I just thought that was a conversation that we need to have, because a lot of people don't realize how it does affect you. So growing up, a little about me, growing up, I've been molested and raped like for years, from someone close to the family and or in the family. And like I never told anyone. Told it in. I never told anyone. I told my little sister because it was happening to her as well. So I never told anyone. I held it in until I became an adult. I was able to talk about it, and I felt like that person passed like a couple of years ago, and I felt at peace once that person passed. I was able to release some pressure off of me, but it does currently still affects my relationship. When I got in a relationship with my husband, I had a daughter, and I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone around my daughter because I don't want the same thing to happen to her. So it took a lot for me to trust him to even keep my daughter by himself. Like, I would not let him keep, mind you, we stayed together and everything, but I would never leave my daughter home with him by himself. I would always, drop my daughter off or whatever. And it just took a lot of trust. And he felt really hurt, I guess, because he's like, I love you. I would never do anything like that to your daughter. But it's like, in my mind, I'm like, I can't take that chance. I have to really learn you. I have to really feel comfortable before I can get to that point. And so, even sexually, it's like sometimes, it affects my sex life, because it's like, sometimes I don't want to feel touched, or when I'm getting touched, I feel like it's the person touching me, molesting me and stuff like that. And I'll cry during sex sometimes. I've gotten so much better since like we've been together. I haven't cried in like years, but that's helped with counseling and help talking to other people that's been through the same thing that I went through. And just being able to put it out there and be comfortable enough to talk to other people. So this is like my second time actually like going live or broadcasting it to a big group of people. And so I just want to brush on how it does affect your life. A lot of people don't understand that your past can affect your life. Drugs and stuff. My parents was on drugs, and thank God, it was never a role I took, but it was like seeing them, it made me do better. Everything that I've been through in life made me do better, but it is things that trigger in my life that affects me. And I'm just like, okay, like, what's next, Andrea? What are you going to do now? So it's like, I don't know. I go through phases. I go through mood swings. I get emotional. I think about all these things that done happened. But you know what? Honestly, it does affect my life. But it also made me the woman who I am today. And yes, I do have trust problems with anyone, everyone, females, males. And that's just something I think I'm going to forever have. And I'm really not worried about it, because I feel like it makes me look out for my kids even more. It makes me have an open mindset about, okay, I know I'm not going to just be easy. Let my child go stay here. Let my child go stay there. Or let this person around my child. Let this person around my child. But yes, that's my story. A little clip.
Okay. Now, during because now what you about like 27-ish around there? Any time did you think about, or was it suggested to you that you should seek counseling, like some form of therapy? Which, like I said, a lot of people, especially in the Black community, they bury that inside them, and just, you like you said, hey, it made you who you are. You feel like you was tougher. You got through that, but you building it up inside, and then it came out when you was with your husband.
Yes.
Did you think about seeking out therapy to get that out?
I did go to therapy, or counseling, a group that has other people like me in the group talking about their stories. I did, but it wasn't until I got older and an adult a couple of years ago. Like, it wasn't until I got with my husband that I actually seek help, because I was like, okay, my husband really loves me. He really wants to be there for me. He really wants me to get through this, and he wants to show me different. Let me see if I can help myself, because I put up a border, and Lee knows, like, I'm this hard girl, I'm this tough girl, and it's hard for me to let people in to get close to me, because I feel like you get close to me, you're gonna hurt me. So I put up this hard border, like, it's hard to love me. And my poor husband, he just fights through it, and still tries to, show me, like, all men, it's not like that. I want to show you better. I want to be that guy for you. So yes, like I said, I started counseling. I might need to, go back into counseling, because that was one of the things before we got married, that we went to marriage counseling, and they told me I should seek counseling for what happened to me in the past, like, that can help with my marriage counseling. So I
was talking with Starr earlier today, and we were talking about her trust issue with men. Starr, do you got anything you want to share on that?
I feel like my trust issues with men stems from not knowing my dad growing up. I met my dad when I was 25, so I never had like a positive male role model in my life. I'm going through some stuff right now, and I spoke to Ike yesterday, and I was telling Lee, like, Ike was talking to me and giving me advice that a father would give their child. And I know, like, what Ike was saying was, like, correct, but I never had, like, a guy giving me, a father giving me, self-esteem talks or stuff like that. So it does affect, like, my relationships with men. Like, I don't trust men. I'm like you, Drea. I have a wall up. I'm hardcore, but, like, in the inside, I am soft. But I'm gonna always build this wall to protect myself, because I don't feel comfortable trusting men.
Right.
And I want to get into it, because we also talked about how a Black woman is viewed, and both of you being Black, which y'all holding on to things that when your husband see you or your boyfriend see you, they don't know that y'all got that type of pain inside you. So then when you, like you said, oh, I'm tough, I'm building this wall, and then you aggressive, and you giving that Black
combative
woman, that combative, that Black woman stereotype is what the man is saying. Like, man, I'm doing everything I can, and I'm still getting shut down here, this shut down there. And sometimes we aren't patient enough, where her husband was patient enough to, like, hey, I'm gonna keep pounding this wall until I can break through it. But not every man would do that, and they'll come back and like, hey, I can't do it. It's too much for me to try to break down a wall that the man can't see. It's an invisible wall.
Right.
They just think you is like I said, being combative and not being, a person that's gonna be there for them or whatever.
I personally think that if you want to be with that person, you're going to help them any way that you can to break down those barriers and those walls and stick with them. A lot of times people give up because, like you said, Lee, like, you didn't build this wall. You didn't have anything to do with my issues, my trauma. So there's only so much you can do, but you need to be there for the people that you love and care about. And you can't just give up on them. And I feel like women, we do a better job at helping men get through whatever they have going on, where men are just like, well, I didn't do it and I don't want to be bothered with it.
Right. And
go ahead, Dre.
I also feel like us as Black women, I feel like a lot of us go through things. I feel like that's why we always have walls up. We always have attitudes. You know, they say we just want to be combative, or just like sassy or all this. But I honestly feel like every woman with an attitude, or every Black woman done been through something, whether it was a messed up relationship, whether it was molestation, whether it was, you know, their parents not being there in their life. I feel like they have been through something that's making them like that, because that's what we do. We try to be tough. We hold it in, and we are stronger than men. Believe it or not, we hold things better. So we deal with things. So instead of us, you know, talking out to the counselors and stuff, you know, we don't do that in our community. Talk out to therapists and stuff. We was taught, you know, you be strong, you build a bridge and get over it. And that's what we do, but we show it through our attitude. So I feel like that's why nowadays a lot of men be like, oh, I don't want to date a Black girl because they too this, they too that, but they fail to realize that Black girl come from a whole background that you have to get to understand the reason she's like that. I'm watching this show called Step Up, and it's like these kids from from poor areas that's trying to dance their feelings, and it's just so much about these kids individually. Like, you know, some have drug addicts as their parents, some parents call them all kinds of names, whores and sluts and this and that. Like, it's so much going on, and I understand. It's like I feel like that's every Black woman, well, not every, but 90% Black woman. I feel like it's something that happened in the past for them to have that attitude or that wall up.
Yeah, and
like as men should like ask us why we have an attitude. Ask us why we're hardcore. Like, get to know about our upbringing, our background, our family, so it'll give you more insight on why I am the way that I am.
All right.
And I got a question for you, but first I'm gonna get into because y'all done let it out with y'all own. I feel like, man, I'm out here. I got to share something too now.
Come on now,
man. I open this book, you know, Pandora's box that I done left back in Buffalo. So obviously, my good friends know. Back in college, I went through a court case. It affects how I deal with women sexually now. I'm not no sex addict or somebody that needs sex like every single day or any of that. But so in college, an ex-girlfriend, just when I finished my season and stuff, accused me of rape. I ended up getting a charge for sexual misconduct. Ended up being cleared. I had to go see a counselor if I had the sex addiction or something. I didn't one time, clear, but it affects me now when I go into bed. And there's some women that be like, oh, they want you to just take it from them without like, oh, trying to like, nah. But I can't go and just like, oh, take it, let me get it, because it brings me back to my trauma that I dealt with going through a court case when I didn't need to go through a court case because I was, to me, falsely accused of something. And so that affects me when I'm in a relationship, going through those type of sexual stuff where they might want something, you know, physical or, you know, like I say, come and take it. And then it turns me off now. Before I was like, okay, I'm about it, let me go get it. But now, and back in college, there was girls that were like, okay, we'll be slowing down, and then you get into it, a little more kissing. Next thing you know, you're having it. It's a whole bunch of, like I said, different stuff. So that was my experience of like trauma, dealing with a son and how it affects me going present, future, and just in relationships. And that's like another reason. That's probably why it slowed me down. Like, listen, you don't need to be like have to have sex like all the time. It makes me make sure, hey, if a woman's saying I don't want it right now, I'm not doing it, it's her choice. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm forcing someone feel like I'm forcing them to do something they don't want to do. So, but
Lee, I have a question for you. Like with that situation, like with your wife, or women after that, were you comfortable sharing like your experience from college with them so they were aware and would help you and move different?
At first, it wasn't about. I'm comfortable sharing with anybody, especially that's close to me. I don't have I have to let them know. But like, so with a girlfriend or at the time, I don't bring it up because it's not something I'm gonna leave with. Yeah, I was like, but as we get more in depth into our relationship, that's something I share with them, and because they're like, hey, I want you to do this, or hey, just take it. You know, you ain't got to ask me, just take it. No, I got to ask you. I'm not just gonna take it. We both got to be into this. So it's like I said, I felt comfortable sharing it with them, especially once we get close enough. Like, hey, this is what I dealt with. And I share with my friends. I talk to each of y'all, and I share like, hey, this is stuff I go through. Maybe y'all my counselors, and y'all don't even know it. Free counseling.
Right.
And I forgot the question I had for y'all though. Now
it goes back to, women, that goes back to saying, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man for this. I don't need a man for that. And I feel like the reason why that was a big thing for me growing up is because I didn't want to depend on a man. I didn't want to have to. I felt like now it's like, okay, if I need this from this man, I'm gonna have to give him something in return. Like I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't want to have to go through that anymore. So I didn't want nothing over my head of, oh, this man did this for me, so I need to do this for this man. No. So that's why I always had the mind frame of I don't need a man. So that's where that comes from when some women say it. This is why I say it. And I just had to think about it once I got in my marriage. Like, okay, well, I don't need a man, but two is better than one any day. So honestly, I do need my man. Like, I need him for other things. I need him to help me. I need him to do this. I do need my man. And I have to start putting that in my head. Like, I do need my man. He's not going to take advantage of me. He's not going to make me do this or do that for whatever, I asked him for or whatever. So I had to start thinking that, but my biggest thing was I don't need a man. I worked 3 jobs. I did this. I made sure that I brought enough income in so that I can take care of me. So I wouldn't have to ask. Now, don't get me wrong. I take from men all the time, but it wasn't like I asked them like, yo, I never had to beg nobody. Yo, I need this, I need that. It was just like, oh, they're trying to please me or they're trying to satisfy me. So I felt like, okay, well, I'm not asking, so I don't need to give you nothing in return. But as I got older, like I said, I got more cockier where it was like, shoot, I get this money and I dip. Like I was able to, make better decisions, or I was old enough to be like, okay, well, I know I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable. Let me leave. So I guess it got better as I get older. But like I said, I have to think about that type of stuff because I don't want my daughter, growing up saying, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man when her dad stays in the house.
Yeah.
Or, oh, mommy runs everything when her dad stays in the house, or this and that. Like, I don't want her to feel like, oh, okay, well, mommy over everything and daddy is just the second one. So I try to work on myself on letting him be the leader and me following. So I'm getting there, y'all. I'm getting there.
Okay. Let us first, we want to welcome everyone that's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to the Don't Get Tricked podcast. This is episode 35, how your past affects your future. And it's Big Lee Drea and our special guest Starr. We're going to get to some of the comments. Amber says, I'm so excited. Been waiting to see you all day.
Hi, Amber.
Congrats, Drea. What's up, Amber?
Yeah.
Jay Gray, good evening. What's good, everybody? What's good?
Hey, Gray.
Hey, Gray.
Vicky says, congratulations on the addition to your family.
Thank you.
Congratulations, PM Dawn.
Thank you.
Love you, Starsky.
Hey, Marky.
And shout out to Don't Get Tricked Podcast.
Hey,
so I wanted to ask you, y'all both can answer. Starr, you touched on it a bit. And then you asked me a question that basically is similar. So you said men should ask you how, because I want to see like how can a man approach you and figure out like, and when would you share those like, hey, basically I got daddy issues, or hey, basically I've been through this. When is it a good time? Because if we go ask you a question, like we might get shouted out, it might be cussed out, or you might be in the mood for a certain thing, but we trying to figure out what it is. So how do you go about
I think with
letting
me,
them in know?
I'm an open book about my dad issues or just my upbringing. Like if you know me, I met my dad when I was 25. And you probably know my relationship with my mom that I have. Like I'm an open book. I want to share that information with people like in my space. So I feel like if I'm talking or getting to know a guy, eventually that's gonna come out. So you can see why I am the way that I am, or my views on like my, I guess, abandonment issues with my dad not being there, or my issues with men in general or stuff like that. So I'm an open book. I want to talk about it. I want you to know so you're aware. So I have no problem like indulging any personal information about myself if I'm interested in a man, and vice versa.
Drea?
Honestly, I'm not gonna tell everyone that I date. It just has to be that type of thing. Like I feel like we're gonna go somewhere, but I should warn you before we get too deep into the relationship that because some people can't deal with people like me. Some people can't deal with that type of person. So we are a lot to deal with, but I'll try to warn you before. Once I see myself getting in deep with you, I try to tell you like, hey, listen, I just want you to know that I'm this type of person. Like, this is what happened to me. Like, you got the chance to stay and work it out, or you got the chance to leave, because I don't want to get deep in a situation and you find out later down, like, oh, I don't like to do this, or I don't like to do that because of my past. So it does take a lot for me to share my information with like my people I have a relationship with. Like I can count on one hand how many people I done told, and like in my relationship. And then not only that, it was like okay, my past relationship, it was like they were like, oh, where he at? I'm finna go. Like it's like hyping up more like unnecessary drama and stuff. So I'm like, I don't like it ain't something, especially back then when he was still alive and still living local. Like it wasn't something that I wanted to keep bringing up. Like, I mean, even my husband we was together when he was still alive, and it was like everybody got the same response, like, oh, where he at? I'm finna go get him, or I'm finna do this, or if I catch that, stuff like that. And it's just like it's over with.
Now were you able to confront him before his passing, or was that something you just left alone and wanted to move past?
Okay, so my sisters had more guts than me. Mind you, I only knew about my little sister. I never knew about my big sister, which was her dad that did it. And so I just thought, like, in my head, okay, that's your biological child. It's not going to happen to you. But as we got older, she put it out to everyone. And she even told his mom, her grandma, and was like, because she fell out with him because he was doing it to her little cousins and stuff. It was a whole big old thing. So she called him out on it. And she told her grandma, like, hey, your son is this. And this is what happened. And, I never wanted to tell anyone because, every time you tell your story to someone, they'll never believe you because you're a child. They feel like you're lying or this and that. So I never told my story. So what I did was boost my little sister up to tell her story. So she told her story when we was younger. Like, maybe not younger when it first started, because it started in elementary. So maybe in high school, she told her story to like adults. And so they can help us and stop sending us over there with that man. And like, I feel like nothing really happened. Like, I mean, my grandma, she was like, oh, we're gonna like I don't want to put her in front of the court and like we just gonna. But I don't feel like nothing really happened to this day to me. And never, like, I mean, while he was living, he never did no time for it. Like, and it's like it happened to so many people. I'm just thinking, like, why none of us had the guts? I felt like we were scared of him. Why none of us had the guts to like go and tell the police or go and get this man arrested or push to the point where this man got arrested? So, like I said, when I seen him, like I used to have to still go over there to see my grandma. He'll be over there. I hated running into him. I hated seeing him. Even when I was pregnant with my daughter, I remember he asked me, "Hey Drea, can I come to your baby shower?" What? And I mean, I cussed him out because I'm like, boy, you would never be close to my child. You would never have the opportunity to even see my child unless you're looking at some pictures. So I never, like, my grandma used to want to babysit and stuff. I never let my grandma babysit because her son, it was no telling when her son was going to come over there. So,
you know what, sadly, I feel like a lot of people that I know who have been like sexually molested and like in the Black community, it gets swept under the rug. Like they don't want to talk about it. They protect the person who did it instead of the children.
Yeah. And that's the thing in Black families. They feel like it's, you know how we was raised, what happens in your house stays in your house.
Yeah.
So like they don't want to be embarrassed or something, or they don't want to be out there like, oh, we got a molester in the house or whatever. Or they don't feel like it's possible for that person to even do something like that. They feel like you making stuff up or whatever the case may be. Like, I remember when my sister told his mom, and she's like, I remember she asked me like, "And Drill, is that true?" Like, I'm like, if she told you, it's true. It happened. If she, but nothing happened. She still loved her son. Her son still came around. Like, she still tried to make us, have that relationship with him, and nothing happened. Like, nothing.
Okay. And hold on. And I got some comments on my Facebook. So shout out to people watching on my Facebook. Sorry they didn't pop up. Paris Lauren says, "Hey everyone, Drea's glowing. Congrats." Jermaine, Drea husband, says, "What's popping?" Show says, "Oh, look at Drea, all sparkling." Oh, Starr in the building. And then Show goes, "Oh, hey Lee," or whatever. Paris also says, "Relatable. You're such a strong woman. Thanks for sharing this." Amber also says, "I'm so happy you felt comfortable enough to share. This can help so many people. You are so strong, though. Thank you for sharing." Paris says, "In the Black community, we're often told to keep quiet about situations such as this. I think as you talk about it, you heal. If you are able to talk about it without crying, etc., you're healing." And then, yes, as a father plays a huge role in a woman's women interacts with men. Jermaine says, "Great convo." Paris says, "A lot of African American women carry generational pain." Paris also said, "Deep. Thank you for sharing, Lee." And Amber says, "I'm glad you feel comfortable sharing, Lee, especially as a Black man." Poppy Americano says, "The past is in your mind, your future is in your hand." This breaks my heart, Drea. It's so sad. We have to do better as Black families protecting our babies. Haifa says, "Congratulations, Drea."
Thank you.
And I wanted to just talk about, because basically how you said you can't leave your kids with someone, and Starr with her father. Why sometimes people ask me, how come I stayed in my ex's children's lives? They're two girls that I've been with. So my good thing was, and it comes down to, I wanted to be that father figure for them and not have someone coming in and out of their life. When I told them, "Hey, I'm gonna be there for you," and just because me and the mom break up, don't mean I stop caring for you, or I don't want to hold my end of the bargain. I wasn't just in it. Once I invested in them, I wanted to be a part of them. But also, I got to commend their mom, because how you say, "Oh, you wouldn't let your husband be with." Imagine her letting her children fly from Wisconsin to Florida to be with her ex,
Right.
by themselves for weeks at a time. Her family, like her father and stuff, which she wasn't in a great relationship with it, but they still in a good family. He was like, how you gonna send two girls down to Florida? You don't know what could happen. That's the mindset that people have because of what happened to young girls or what can happen. But her trust in me allowed that to happen. When she'd tell him, like, listen, I trust him more than I trust my parents. So that's why I'm able to send them down. But like I said, I wanted to be that role model, that father figure for them. So they always got something consistent, regardless of what relationship status her mom and I are in or whoever she's with. That's the consistency I chose to do.
And that's like really like big of you, Lee, because a lot of guys would be like, I'm out. Like, F these kids, F you. But like, I love the fact that, you know, you still have a relationship with your daughters.
Yeah. And her mom even gave me an out. Mm-hmm. When I was first leaving Wisconsin, was like, there's no communication, but I fought to still be there, a part of it. Right. And that's what I wanted to do. And like I said, it's a lot for a woman to trust a man with her daughters, especially. And it can happen to boys too. Definitely, especially those daughters where they feel the daughters are the most fragile.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
yeah, that's very hard. I wouldn't even, like, it's like my trust so messed up. I wouldn't even send my kids like to Wisconsin to their real daddy. Come meet your daughter here. Like,
Yeah. So, and it's been, like I said, I've been living here 7 years, and they come at least 2 to 3 times a year, and we have a great time, and it's never no issue. The mom don't think twice about it. Like I said, her trust in me, because that's knowing the person who I am, it helps out. So
I have a question for you, Lee. Like with your daughters, I believe like their biological dads aren't involved, correct?
They know who he is, who they are. They got different dads. They like try to come around every once in a while, but it got to a point where one of them was like, basically, I don't want to do it. Now they old enough, like, I don't want to put up with you. I ain't got time for you.
Do you ever like talk to your daughters about like how they feel about like their sperm donors not being there? Like, do you notice it has an effect on them, even though you're present?
No. Talking to their mom, it's not really affect. Like I said, the one was just like, I'm good. That's why I always try to reiterate the fact of, listen, I'm here for you. I'm not here for you just for things you need, like in terms of like things you want, I should say. I'm here for the things you need. I'm here to teach you about life, here to guide you through it. So you about to be an adult. They're in high school now. You only got 3 years left. Then, you know, they already driving. So you're about to be an adult. So I'm here to help you be successful once you are out of high school and then out on your own. Because you go to college. If you go to college, are you getting a job? So that's my duty as a father that I do with my biological son, that I do with them. Is my time on earth is to make sure I could say, hey, I gave y'all the tools to be successful. And I want y'all to be more successful than I am, be better in life than I am. What me and your mom went through in life, you don't have to go through that, hopefully. So.
Do you think like with them being young, they would benefit from like being in counseling, like for not having, maybe they have like abandonment issues because of their dad? Like, I never went to counseling about like my relationship with my father. I probably should have. My mom didn't put me in any type of counseling. We never talked about my dad. It was a don't ask, don't tell type of situation. Even as an adult, she doesn't want to hear about it. She doesn't ask me about it.
I don't know. I think each person, even as a kid, is like, it's easy for me to say, oh, you should go to counseling. But I think, especially like they're 15 to 16 now, I could suggest it, like, you should talk to somebody, but it's going to be on them. They can't look at this stuff like, oh, it's not cool to go to counseling and talk to somebody. But I wanted to ask you, at what age did you feel like, man, I need this father figure? Like, was there an age where it hit you, like maybe it was like 11, 12, like, I'm missing this father figure, someone to teach me X, Y, and Z? Or did you just not think about it?
Honestly, I just never thought about it. I thought my whole life I would go without having a dad, not knowing who my dad was. Like, it was just my mom. So I never really thought about my dad, like, as a kid, that I can recall.
So I restart. So was your dad in the picture at the beginning and left, or he was never in the picture?
To my knowledge, he was like just never in the picture, like in and out of jail, dumb, immature, had 2 kids, just a badass and not taking care of his responsibilities.
Okay, and did you ever have another father figure in the picture, like a stepdad or something that? See, I feel like with Lee kids, he's been in their life for so long, since they were little kids. So it's like now I feel like it's to the point where they're attached. Like
Right.
my husband been in my daughter's life since she was 6-7 months. So it's like now my daughter thinks that's her dad. And yeah, I tell her who her biological dad is. But, I feel like kids get to a point when they grow up like, okay, well, this man been here for me. This man is who, looked out for me. This man is who I raised up with or whatever. This is who I'm going to consider dad. Because, family
Right.
ain't always blood, So
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I'm a firm believer we create our own family, and it don't have to be blood related. There's people that's great friends that I'm closer to than blood family, and I consider them my family. And you can't tell me like, no difference. But yeah, like I said, I've been with those kids since 2 and 3, and
Those are your babies.
yeah, like I FaceTime with them all the time. And like I said, me and the mom, we do a good job of co-parenting. So I don't think they miss it too much. I know the mom is with somebody, been with them for at least 5-6 years. So that's another person that they looked up to when the mom was having issues, and she was like, she need the kids to come live with me. If anything ever happened, I know the kids was like, they still wanted the other guy, her boyfriend, to be a part, like being in their life, get to see them and stuff too. So, and I'll have no problem with it. As long as they treating them good, that's all that matters.
They got 2. 2 is better than 1.
Yeah. But just ain't no one better than me. It is. Let's get to some of these questions again, some of these comments. Like I said, this is the Don't Get Tricked Podcast, episode 35. How your past affects your future or your present. Where we got Jay Gray said, it's the exposure and the denial in the Black household when it comes to these type of issues. Amber, that's so really, the kids often get hurt when breakup happens. I know they realize how big that is of you, then abandon them. Christian said, good job speaking about real issues and problems. Don't get tricked. Haifa, very sorry you had to go through that. Definitely takes much strength to speak on that pain, Drea. Papi Americano. why has single parent households been normalized in music, movies, churches, progressively Christianity, and in everyday life? Do you think if there was more influence of a family thing would be different?
Yeah.
I'll let Starr jump on that.
Well, I don't think it's normalized, but I mean, it happens. Like, relationships fail. Me and Amber talk about this all the time. Like, she grew up with a mom and dad who should have been got divorced, but they stayed together for the kids. Whereas I grew up in a single family household with no dad. I just couldn't stay in a relationship with someone if I'm not happy. And if I have to be a single mom, then so be it. Guys, get your shit together, and then we don't have to be single moms, and it won't be single household families. But it is what it is. Like, people don't get along, people fall out of love, and
I feel like back in the days, our parents or our grandparents, should I say, our grandparents, they did the thing where they stayed together, no matter what, they stood by their vows. And I feel like that's the problem now. People always speaking on how, Black families don't always stay together. Black families don't grow up with, both parents, or their marriages. Our marriage rate is very our divorce rate is very high. And I feel like the reason being is back in the days, they put up with so much from men, to the fact that we nowadays it's like we got our own job. We have to make income. We have to do all the things that men just did back in the day. So I feel like it's not, now we're not taking none of that. Like, it's like, but I feel like if they normalize, I feel like they should normalize the fact that talking about, being sexually abused in your families, or being touched, or stuff like that. And I feel like that would help a lot of people, a lot of families out, because honestly, I feel like we don't talk about that conversation, or our parents don't talk to us about that conversation, and then we're scared to face them, or we're scared to go, what they might think, or we're scared of getting denied, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like we should actually start doing that in our households, instead of sweeping everything up on the rug. Like, me as a mother to my daughter, every day I bathe her, I ask her, hey, did anyone touch here? Did anyone touch here? Because I want it to be normal for her to tell me, hey, mommy, this person touched here. Whether it was just to bathe her or not, I still want to know. Let me be the person to say, oh, well, it was inappropriate, or it wasn't inappropriate. I still want her to be comfortable to tell me, hey, this is what happened to me. So I do it with my child every day. I bathe her.
And I want to say, when it comes to like normalizing it for like in music, at least in hip hop, a lot of them, like athletes, you see, that's what they saw growing up. So if you are speaking about it in music, it's what you went through. That's all you can do. So if LeBron James got to normalize it, because his mom was a single mom that raised him in the hood. So but there is a lot. I came from a two-family household, a two-parent household, I should say. But there's a lot of friends that I grew up with that didn't have their father. So, like I said, I'm with the issue, because I talked to one of my good friends, and he'll tell you himself that he has daddy issues, because he like, why isn't this man been around? Why isn't this man did this for me? Why if I go to wherever he at, I can't see him. And I was always on the mindset of, listen, if a person don't want to be in my life, I ain't trying to be in theirs. But it's easier said for me, because my father was there.
All right. So
I could have felt different. But like I said, if you've been through it, Starr thought that was your normal, that your dad wasn't there. Whether it's good or bad, you see it as an adult, the consequences of it and how it affected you. So granted, I'm on the mindset of you, Starr, where there's no sense to be in a relationship just because you have kids, because it's, in the end, you're miserable. And yeah, you want the kids to feel that mom and dad love, but at the end of the day, I still feel I got to live on this earth for a short matter of time. Why am I going to be unhappy when
also, a lot of times
my son, like you said what?
A lot of
they
times they feel the
that
negative energy. So you think you're doing good to your kids, but you're damaging your kids because they see a toxic relationship.
Yeah, and like I said, just because we're not together, you can co-parent. And you say be a single mom. No, you're not a single mom. You're just a single woman.
Right.
That's a mom.
True.
I'm not a single dad. I'm a single man. That's a dad. Now, if and Papi Americano also says, why is it socially accepted for a man to be a deadbeat? Well, I don't.
Gonna pick up the pieces no matter what. We can't run away like men can. Like, we have to carry this child. This is our child. We're not gonna run away like men. So I feel like that.
But that also come down to, because you'll hear men who like, oh, my baby moms is put me through this, and I gotta go through this just to see the kids. I don't think it's accepted. I think it's terrible if you are a deadbeat dad. I see my kids and I'm like, I don't understand. Me and Sho talk about it all the time. I don't understand how you could not want to be a part of your kid's life. Like, just seeing them grow and seeing them what they gonna become is exciting for me. So that's my take on it. We got King Zone emojis. Granted, they can pay child support. Do they really support their children?
No.
Look, we could get into that child support thing too, Dre.
Right. We're gonna say that topic for another day.
Yeah. Amber said, trust me, they feel it when y'all not happy. Kids are smart. Hold on, I skipped one. Single woman, that's a mom. Single man, that's a dad. Bloop, love this. Jay Gray said, I would say it's society that sets the norm for single families. Churches still promote family, but to each his own. Everyone is not on the same page in regards to how healthy, strong relationships go. And Amber said, kids definitely feel the energy. I know I did. So, but like I said, it's a lot of stuff to unpack from this conversation alone. And everyone has a story. A lot of people bury it inside. You see a lot of people advocating mental health in the Black community. And I think a lot of more people now are starting to get the help that they need and starting to heal. I hope all three of us here, we continue to, whatever healing that we need, we get any help that you need. Regardless, just know I'm always there for you. Dontgettricked Podcast is there to get your feelings out. Starr, we appreciate you coming through today.
Thank you for having me.
We definitely appreciate everyone in the comments that watched, anybody that watched the Dontgettricked Podcast. We definitely appreciate it. Starr, I'm gonna let you get a final word in that you can. Drea, you could go after her, and then I'll wrap it up. And thank you again for being a part of it.
Definitely don't be afraid to seek out counseling. Use your friends. Lee's my therapist. Ike's my therapist. Amber is my therapist. They always give me non-biased opinions and advice. So use the people around you, but also seek professionals. Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. I just want to say, make sure you pay attention to what's going on with your kids. Don't trust easily, but definitely, yeah, make sure you're having that conversation, making it normal for your kids to be able to talk and trust you and be able to be open with you.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot to unpack. I felt a good conversation that needed to happen between us. I definitely appreciate everyone in the audience again, like I said, that came by, sent the comments, sent the text. If you didn't, Starr, thank you. Appreciate it. Drea, definitely congratulations again on the baby girl.
Thanks.
You already know the Don't Get Tricked Network. Make sure y'all go check us out on YouTube. Check out Showtime in Paris with Paris and Lauren and Show. Check out Rush Hour with myself, Vicky, and Ike. And check out the LA the King versus Showy the Great Sports Pod with me and Show. And this is the Don't Get Tricked Podcast, episode 35. We out. Peace.